So, hello and welcome to the GCC Summer Championships. My name is Matt Payne. I'm going to be bringing you all of the action here with the one and only Emma Martin. Emma, it's great to be here. We had a fantastic stage one, and the competition is proving to be really, really intense.
Oh, yes, indeed. And I am really looking forward to stage two today. Yesterday, as you said, Matt, was stage one of 5 stages across 5 days. We were in Hudariat on a course that was 38.4 kilometres long. And in both the men's and the women's race, the racing was tight. It was fabulous. The sprints, the climbs, the stage itself, absolutely brilliant. And our viewers can go back if they haven't seen stage one. It is indeed on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel for them to view. Today, however, we are on stage 2.
Indeed, we are. And this I'm really looking forward to. It is a time trial, which means that our riders have to ride individually today, which they don't have to do for the rest of the stages in terms of being able to get the draft. Now, taking their leads into today's stage are overall stage one winners in each of our 4 categories. So in the men's elite number 1, it is Q10 leading out that Premier Elite men's category. In the Premier women's category, it is Patty Keinberger who took that sprint. Fantastic. Great to see that. The men's elite category 2 and the women's elite category 2, so our standard elite categories, Ronald Erasmus and Myra Madeira were our 2 winners there. Great riding by them, and it's to some degree Myra Madeira of these 4 riders is the rider maybe best suited or shown she's got the skills in stage 1 for stage 2.
Well, she did indeed time trial her way away from the rest of that women's elite field yesterday. Phenomenal riding for her to finish in 1 hour and 8 minutes, picking up the prize for the stage winner on stage 1.
Indeed, and don't forget, of course, it's all about getting times. So those times are accumulated throughout the 5 stages, 5 days of racing, and it is that cumulative time that counts. Now, on to stage 2. We've given you a few teasers. It is a time trial today. We're in Arabia. Emma, take us through the course.
Yeah, we are indeed in Arabia today for what is being classified as a rolling time trial. And you can see the course profile in front of you, and it answers the question as to why it's rolling. 30 kilometres of racing for both the men and the women, and all categories today. 30 kilometres of racing, 199 metres of climbing, and you can see that really is a rolling course today. So a flat start, and then we move into those rollers. Now, as you can see, Matt, and our viewers can see, that's a big depression in the middle there, and the climb to come out of there is not a roller.
It's not a roller, and it is quite a big climb. Do need to remember that climb has got a lot of the climbing in a course which is shorter in distance than yesterday's stage, but has more climbing meters, more meters of ascent in the racing overall. So that is going to be really, really critical in terms of how our riders approach this, particularly as they cannot take a draft from the rest of the riders.
Yes, all of our riders today have been allocated a time trial bike, and the drafting is switched off.
So that means no hiding behind everybody else. It is known as the race of truth, the Contre La Montre against the clock, and that is what our 4 groups of Premier riders will be doing. Our elite riders, you can see that we have our men's Premier Elite in the yellow. We have our men's Standard Elite in the green. We have the riders in the blue and in the red as well. The Premier Elite and our Standard Elite in the women's competition. They're just up on your screens at the moment, but the first riders to head out onto the start line will be the riders who are heading out in the women's competition, and this will include our amateur competition. We saw some great riding from our amateur riders.
We did.
Who have basically, it's a jump on, have a ride, and see if you can complete all 5 stages.
It is indeed in that amateur competition. In the elite women's competition that is about to start, which is category 4, participants there are on the screen.
They are indeed. Now, team competition in this was very, very interesting. Currently, the Velocity Vixens are leading from the Aussie Balatai squad. So at the moment, the cumulative time for the Velocity of Vixens absolutely flying. But I think it's going to be very, very interesting when you add up all these riders' times by the end of all these stages to see who is going to be where. Because we have got riders in here who are focusing on very different things in the different competitions. And we'll go through that as we go into the time trial a little bit further on. We have our participants in the women's amateur category as well. Now, these riders basically don't have dual power recordings, so they're not taking the data from two sources on their bike. They can do it with just a smart turbo trainer. But the big challenge for them is they've got to finish all 5 stages to be in
the $500
for
reward.
5.
Indeed. So our amateur women in this category, some really great rides yesterday by these women as well, Matt.
Yeah, really, really impressive. And I'm hoping to see a lot of them jumping on board and racing regularly in some of our premium events because they've shown that they are really, really strong. And whether you're racing a premium event or just jumping on for a ride, it's great to see these riders here today. Now, we have just over 1 minute to the start time for both our amateur riders and our elite category riders. They are now lined up, ready to go. It's a time trial, Emma. This start from our pens is going to be different, or will it?
Well, there you go. So in terms of a standard road race that we saw yesterday, we saw some really fast starts out of the pen. In terms of the team time trial, you still want to get up to pace quickly. So you want to get rolling, and you want to get rolling really fast. So a start is still key in an individual time trial because you want to get your pace, your kilometers per hour rolling really quickly.
And because this is a flat start, it's about getting the power down and going, but not going too hard because you're not going to be able to recover by hiding behind anybody else from this start.
No, you do not want to burn a match on the start line, but you want to get that pace up quickly. Well, we're in with Rona Tanglian down here on the start line for this women's elite category. We have the red jerseys, but we've also got the current overall champion in yellow, the current leader in the Queen of the Mountains competition in polka dot, and the current leader of the sprint competition in that green skin suit, which is why you're seeing so many different skin suits absolutely on the screen at the moment. And they've just been joined by another colour. That is the purple jerseys of the amateur riders who are also taking part in all 5 stages of this competition.
So off from the start we go. No draft available, so you're not going to get a benefit in terms of your physics, in terms of the speed, the velocity, the drafting. It doesn't exist. However, there is, and I think this is really critical at the start, a real psychological advantage here of making sure that you're up near the front, because if you lose time at the start here, you're going to have to keep on riding and pull that back somewhere later in the stage, or you're going to be losing time. Now, we're in with Myra Madeira as we come off from the start. The rider who took victory yesterday, and he's leading the overall classification, general classification, ahead of Musa Al-Mansouri in second. Third place, Liz Smithson in there. That's in terms of our general classification. Don't forget the full listings are available on mywhoosh.com/results. Myra Madeira set her stall out early. She's doing the same here, going right from the gun. And in terms of how she's riding, this is a strong start by the yellow skin suit of our general classification leader.
It is a strong start indeed, and we're seeing Jenny Tan, rider in 2 at the moment. Smithson's the rider in 3, Mare the rider in 4. Now, Myra Madeira yesterday, to take that yellow skin suit, put in a phenomenal time gap over Musa Al-Mansouri, the rider who finished in second, 1 minute 15 seconds. So she rode really, really strongly and really smartly yesterday to give herself some great sliding room. So 1 minute 15 to Al-Mansouri, 2 minutes 11 to Smithson, 2 minutes 17 to Mare. So she has got capacity today, and it's going to be really interesting to see. She's going out strong early in this time trial.
She is indeed, and I think this is going to be really, really telling in terms of how she sets the stall out today. We know she can time trial. What we saw, though, we did see a little bit of a difference in the riding style of Jenny Tan and of Liz
Yes, we did.
Smithson, because those two riders, they targeted the sprint competition, and as such they were putting in really high efforts, and then they were easing off. Now we're in with Liz Smithson here, leader in that sprint competition in the green skin suit. She has the lead, 22 points, but it's close, isn't it, behind her?
It is close indeed. Jenny Tan finishing in second place with 19 points, and we can see it here, the Women Elite Category 4. This is the Stage 1 segment winners, and you can see Smithson took the first sprint, the third, the fourth, and the fifth sprint. Jenny Tan coming in to take sprint number 2 and picking up points in second and third place in the other sprints as well. So these two riders absolutely dominant in the sprinting yesterday. Different rider in the climbing, Matt.
It is, and just before we go to that, just to give that some context in terms of those points, Myra Madeira, you will see, is missing from all of these segments. She time trialed her way, a yellow jersey, and she kept a consistent pace. She was fourth in the sprint competition, fourth in the climbing competition. The climbing competition really was decided on that velodrome climb.
Well, it was indeed, and Sarasu is the rider who is got the polka dot skin suit on at the moment, and it's really interesting. So early on in stage 1 in this women's elite category 4 competition, we are seeing overall stage race tactics coming into play. It's very, very clear. Some of our riders will be prioritising the climbs and the sprints for those two competitions, whereas other riders are already saying, well, I'm going for the overall.
Yep. And they might be in different teams as well, or in the same team, so a sharing out of what our riders are going to be able to do. Now, Thea Kirst in here just took in one of our riders who we saw racing yesterday, riding really strongly actually in those sprints, putting in some big numbers, kicking out through the sprint sections. She's one of our amateur riders in here. Liz Smithson, interestingly, tucked in almost on the heels here. Now, the draft may not be there, but having people around you, psychologically, that's going to be a benefit.
It is. And also, whilst there is no draft, and you can see that because all the numbers are white on the screen today. Yesterday, we were talking about the green numbers on the top bar. So we're currently in with Smithson at the moment. She's the rider highlighted in blue on the right-hand column, and it's her numbers we're looking at. She's currently doing 186 watts, but they are white today. Yesterday, we were talking about the difference between white watts and green watts. Green watts, good draft. White watts in the wind.
And everybody is in the wind today now. Carl Wiley is at the moment leading out the race field and has covered so far 3.3k, so over 10% of the distance done. And that is one of the things our riders are going to be doing, isn't it? They're going to be having a marker every 3k. 30k, you know that when you've done 3k, you're a tenth of the way there. You want to know when you're like getting halfway. There's key markers, and it does vary from rider to rider what that's going to be. She's sat there. We're seeing a bit of a fluctuation in her pace and in the amount of power going down from her. That doesn't strike me as a standard time trial tactic in lots of ways, where maybe we're going to see somebody like Myra Madeira set at a really consistent pace.
Yeah, actually, I'm watching Madeira at the moment, and her pace is going up and down. Now, what we have to remember, this is not a pan-flat time trial today. This is a rolling time trial, so we are going to see potential variations. However, some riders may be absolutely stuck on a number and stick there, regardless of the terrain. Different types of tactics is going to be very interesting.
Definitely. Now, we're jumping in with Guzman at the moment. The Guzman at the moment tucked on that Colnago. You can see nice aerodynamic position there. The real life person, we're on the avatar left-hand side of the screen, and Ligaya de Guzman nicely guys pedaling here, keeping those revs nice and smooth, and keeping very focused as well.
Well, and it's great to see our amateur riders jumping in to the room with the video feed,
yes,
and actually, you know, being on the screens as well. So it is that whole experience for the non-elite riders as well. You know, completing the 5 stages, riding the time trial today, being on screen, and it's great to see them in that room as well.
And they can compare their performances with our elite women, with our general classification leader, Myra Madera, who at the moment is setting out her stall. Now, Rona May Joy Mayer is the second placed rider. At the moment, giving away about 8 seconds. Rona May Joy Mayer, 4th overall, 5th in both the sprint and the points competition in the Velocity Vixens team, the same team as Myra Madera. Madera really, I think, set the stall out for those Vixens with that time lead that she took in to the finish. But Rona May Joy Mayer, a rider that we see racing regularly.
Yes.
On most Sundays on the Sunday Race Club, a rider who we know spends a lot of time on the platform. She will know these roads really well, and that's going to help today.
It will. And, some riders will get stronger during a 5-day stage race. Others will get more tired, and it's going to be really interesting to see how our riders' bodies respond to the 5 days and the 5 different stages. But Mare really going well today, and it looks like time trialing is one of her strengths.
Certainly is. 8 seconds on the yellow jersey wearer of the leader overall, and just starting to pull a little bit of time back here as we start to go up the hill as well. That is our elite women on the right hand side of your screen, our 2 leaders on the course. Left hand side of your screen is our Premier Elite riders. They are lined up in our blue jerseys, along with our skin suits of our competition leaders. So you can see that we have got in our Premier Elite squad 2 main teams, the Sparkle squad, who have the team lead from the Saddle Queen squad. And Nadine Haj, our individual rider in there, putting in a great ride. She's 4th in the sprints competition, and 4th in the climbing competition as well. So scoring points on the way. So it doesn't necessarily mean you are out of the running if you're not in a big team there. Really interesting to see. Patty Keinberger, her battle with the riders around her was so good to see in the competition, up against Hadlock, who's currently in 2nd place in the GC. Kekkonen 3rd place in the GC. They were really a force to be reckoned with at the front.
They were indeed, and we talked about over a minute in category 4. In this category, Keinberger 1.17 seconds ahead of Hadlock in that competition for the yellow skin suit.
So let's see, will it be a matter of seconds? Will it be a matter of minutes? It's time to go find out on the course with our Premier Elite riders here on the GCC Summer Championships. Stage 2, our time trial underway for our Premier Elite women.
Well, for those eagle-eyed amongst you, you will note in this category there is no wearer of the green skin suit, and that's because Keinberger holds both the yellow skin suit of overall leader in the competition at the moment, and the green skin suit of the overall leader in the sprint competition, and the yellow skin suit takes priority.
It does indeed. Now, Jennifer Ellos, a rider who we saw absolutely flying on yesterday's race, currently leading the riders out 4th place in the general classification overall. Scored points in the mountains competition as well on that climb up to the velodrome. Remember, no points today in the sprint competition, no points today in the mountain competition, and that means that the riders who are wearing those jerseys know that they are in those positions at the end of today. Today's all about making sure you get the pacing right, you go and put down a ride that will get you into the right position at the right time. Now, just taking a look down here, Ellos at the moment with a lead over Hadlock. Hadlock the nearest rider, and we know that Hadlock is not going to let anybody go. Very fearsome competitor. De Grazia, Kekkonen in there as well, chasing hard at the moment. The rider who I expected to be right up there, Patty Keinberger, but she was sprinting well, and she got herself the green jersey with some big points there. Is that an indication that maybe today with no draft, nowhere to hide, she's not going to maybe have such a good day?
Well, or she's playing it very smartly. She knows her pace. She knows she's got 30 kilometers. She knows it's a rolling course. She's picked the pace she's going to ride at, and she is riding at it regardless of what the rest of the competition are doing. And that takes a very strong person to do that when you're seeing riders go off down the road.
When you're seeing riders like Novelin Kekkonen, who's currently right behind Jennifer Ellis and Hadlock. They're chasing Ellis at the moment. They know that Ellis is up the road, and Ellis is a teammate of Patty Kienberger. So the yellow jersey's teammate is up the road at the moment, making them work. They're on the chase, and at the moment, Ellis, you can just see on the left-hand side of your screen there, plenty of hydration here.
Yeah.
And what I think is really interesting, we see our riders, they're sat much more upright. They're not down in that time trial position in reality, because they're not having to worry about those aerodynamics.
No.
And yet their avatars, their crouch low, perfect time trial position, really, that contrast is really strong today.
And I'll tell you something, take a look at Elsie's heart rate at the moment, 197, 198. She can't keep this going, can she, for the entire time trial today? If she can sit at that heart rate, I will be amazed. She's got to be right on the limit.
Well, has she gone out hard? Is this team tactics? Go out hard, draw out Kekkonen, force Kekkonen to go into the red zone, force Hadlock to go into the red zone.
Do you know, I've not thought about that.
You're not as devious as me.
Well, there
Definitely
you go,
not. I think this would be a great technique. Now, Noveline Kekkonen is there. She's out the saddle. Now she goes into the lead.
I've got
here.
kit envy.
You've got kit envy,
I
have
have.
you?
That's fabulous kit. Love a bit of yellow and pink.
It's an amazingly bright kit, and I tell you something, that is a big smile on Kekkonen's face. She knows that she's going well. Now, Noveline Kekkonen is a regular racer on MyWhoosh. She's a rider who we know has got a lot of skills here and is a very, very experienced rider on MyWhoosh. Kekkonen, third overall, third in the sprints competition, second in the climbs. And is this her opportunity? Because in third place, the time gap individually is not big to Kienberger.
Well, can I just say,
she could make that time back.
In this race category, we have a number of triathletes. We'll come back to that. Let's just take a look at the Premier Elite Women's segment winners from yesterday.
Okay, so let's put this into context in terms of where we are in our two competitions, in our sprint competition. Sprint competition, first of all, Patty Kienberger taking the lead, holding the lead there in that sprint competition by 4 points from Hadlock. You can see Hadlock taking one of the sprints. You can see Kienberger taking two of the sprints, but they were scoring points on the way in through. Meanwhile, you look at Kekkonen and Hajin up there as well. This is a real mixed bag of riders.
No one dominating like we saw in the Elite Four category.
Definitely not. And lots of riders into double digits in the sprints. It's going to be very interesting to see how they go on when they go out the other side of the time trial and into another road stage, because tomorrow's road stage is a very, very tough one. Hard rolling hills, short climb. It's got a real mix of terrain. It's definitely going to test our riders. 2 sprints tomorrow, 4 climbs tomorrow. I think because this competition is wide open, it really is going to spur riders on. But they're also so close at the top of the GC. And that is why we're seeing Kekkonen and we're seeing Hadlock going for this and really pushing on at the moment and trying to put Kienberger under pressure.
Well, exactly what is going on at the moment. Kekkonen coming out really strongly here. Ellos really struggling with the pace at the moment. Now, I was saying,
yes,
in terms of this Premier Elite category, a number of these women really should know how to pace a time trial. And I say that because of the triathlon background that is smattered through this field. So Kienberger has a triathlon background before she transitioned to cycling, and now she is pretty much cycling focused. But Kekkonen, back in 2020, Ironman triathlete, 2022, Haj rode in the World Triathlon Age Group Champs.
So for those people who may be not familiar with the triathlon discipline, you swim, you would then ride, and then you would run. Now, the distance of that varies dependent on the type of ride you're doing and the distance, whether you are in an Olympic triathlon or you're on an Ironman distance triathlon. So it does vary. But what you have to do is you're riding individually most of the time and you have to get the pacing. You've got to know how hard to go, when to go hard and when to go strong. Really, really interesting to see whether or not these riders can do that. We've got a leader in the elite category on the right-hand side of your screen overall. We've got the leader overall in the Premier Elite category on the left-hand side. But at the moment, Mara Mandera is extending her lead over the rest of the race field. Keinberger is in danger of losing that yellow skin suit because the time gap to Hadlock, who is second overall, is 9 seconds at the moment, and the gap was what, 1 point something seconds on the line last time. So if this was on the road and we could have a virtual jersey swap, we would be seeing it disappear.
But you do have to remember, this is just stage 2 of 5 stages. And we talked earlier on in the show about what the tactics were and what these riders were racing for. Now, Keinberger, is she going for the overall? And does that mean she's still got 3 stages? She knows the hard climbing is coming. That is what she is waiting for. And is she happy with the gap at the moment to Hadlock? Hadlock obviously taking an opportunity, but who knows what is going to happen here? Keinberger could well sit at this pace and Hadlock could come back.
She could indeed. And of course, there's all of the team competition that's been played out in the rides out on the race as well. So we're going to really have to keep our eye on that. Now, let's head over to the start pens, go back a little bit in distance and back to where our riders are getting ready to set off. On the right-hand side of your screen, you can see our amateur men's competition riders, that big pack of light blue jerseys there in there, as are our elite riders in the men's competition in the green. So our wheel warriors are in here. They're the team currently in 4th position. Team Poggy at the moment, well, they are the team in 3rd place at the moment. The team in 2nd place is Alpha Wheel, but they are giving best at the moment to the riders from Team Alpha, because Team Alpha at the moment are our leading team. However, and it is a big however,
51 seconds.
It's 51 seconds. It's not a lot of time between 3 riders on course, and our individual riders in that competition are actually ripping it up in terms of the individual general classification, which really mixes it up. Add in the participants who are out and around the riders in this men's competition. Congratulations to everybody whose name is on screen, because it means that you have completed stage 1. These lists getting smaller so that we have riders disappearing out, maybe not completing the stage. We will see how many are left at the end, because you've got to do all 5 stages to get that reward for completing the 5 stages, and that is $500. The riders in here, they're racing for prizes. No sprint prizes, no climb prizes today. However, there is the general classification at stake, and today's stage, it's time to hit the road with the riders in the men's elite category. They're off. They're on to the boardwalk. It won't be long before we see the rest of the riders. In fact, here they come. What
that's
a merge.
A shot, isn't it?
It is. That is. You could have come around that corner. You're going to think that's a lot of riders, but no drafting, which is going to be really interesting to see. So away we go. This is the men's elite in the green, and in the blue, it's our men's amateur. We're in with Ronald Erasmus. At the moment, he is our men's general classification leader in the men's elite, and that means he is our stage winner from stage 1. Now, he has got a little bit of a gap on the riders.
A little bit of a gap.
A little bit of a gap.
There's 2.1 seconds separating the top 3 riders in this men's elite category. So Erasmus took the win yesterday, 57 minutes, 58.6 seconds. SS, who was with him all the way, 57 minutes, 0.59 seconds. 1.8 seconds behind. Hassan Al-Ramethri, 58 minutes dead. 2 seconds back.
So Al-Ramethri on your screens in 3rd place, but he is the fastest climber up the velodrome climb yesterday, and that means that he holds the polka dot skin suit as the leader in that competition. Al-Ramethri with a 3rd in the general classification, a 3rd in the points competition, and a 1st place in the climbing competition. Really in the mix. Emma did tout him as being a good climber. We had the 1 climb, and he certainly made that work. Now, just taking a little bit of a look at some of our other riders. We're just in with Hessam Talat at the moment. We saw him yesterday looking pretty focused, looking good here today. And already just keeping those revs. You see 90 revs per minute, just ticking that around, that heart rate, just holding nice and steady, just shy of 300 watts. That's some big power coming out of Talat at the moment. And we're going to see if he can continue to push onwards in this competition. And riding for the Wheel Warriors, now he knows that time is going to be really important today. They are chasing the Team Puggy. So we're going to see if he can get on their heels.
16th position yesterday. So a good mid-pack ride yesterday in terms of this competition. Interesting to see. Riders will start to work out which riders are finishing around them, and we will start to see competitions within the competition as we go through these 5 days.
So Erasmus, the rider on your screens at the moment, the man who took victory yesterday to go into that yellow skin suit, the first yellow skin suit in the men's elite competition, being awarded yesterday, going to Erasmus, pulled on his shoulders. Now, is that an indication that this man is going to be good? Because we can see he's on a time trial bike with tri-bars on there. He should know exactly how to ride this. If you've got the kit, you've got to have the knowledge of how to use it. And I think today he's going to be looking forward to this. But Arametri right on his heels. And I think the contenders here know they do not want to give any seconds away at any point in time. They don't dare, pretty much, because it is so close.
Yeah, indeed, it is indeed close in this competition. And Erasmus, interesting to see, back off of the pace at the moment. We've got our Methri and Aimer up the... I say off the pace. It's not really off the pace. It's just
he
one
just
or
eased
2
back
seconds.
a little bit there, didn't he? And it's how hard we've gone hard from the gun. We're 2.7k into this ride. Going to be really tricky. Now, we've mentioned Hassan Al-Ramethri at the top of the climb. He was the man who took the segment win for the climb and took the skin suit. The man in the green skin suit of the sprints, well, if you can't work it out from our screen, then your maths is as bad as mine is, because there is only one name on that screen other than Hassan Al-Ramethri, and that is Joy Kaluma. Joy Kaluma took every single sprint on the way through. The Team Poggy rider from the Philippines, living in the UAE, taking away absolutely maximum points. A perfect score, 25 points. Behind him, he's got a gap of 10 points to second place, and that's his teammate, Demanuan.
Well, I know. And what a fantastic feeling that must be for Kaluma. Target the sprints, take every single one, resplendent in the green skin suit, finished 13th overall. So still riding around mid-pack in terms of the finish, but absolutely targeting that green skin suit. So fantastic to see the tactics paying off.
It is now. Joy Kaluma, if he is one of our just key sprinters, he loves to sprint. You can see that you don't get a result like that without being able to sprint. When it comes to a time trial, now sprinters would normally, if this was a big, tall stage, your sprinters would be riding to get in the time cut. There is no time cut in here. But what he has, he's got a whole team that he's working for as well. So he knows that if he can go out there, no riding for the time cut today, sir, your team might be relying on you for the team time. So that means you've got to keep digging as a sprinter on a time trial stage. And generally, that's never a great thing. It's not like it's a prologue where it's 1K long. This is 30 kilometers, and that's going to hurt.
Well, it may well hurt. Well, it's not just going to hurt Kaluma. It's going to hurt every single rider out there today. Anybody who has done an individual time trial, whether it's 30 kilometers, whatever the distance, if it doesn't hurt by the finish, you've not done it properly.
But riders do need to bear in mind they're riding tomorrow and the day after and the day after that as well.
Good recovery is required.
Yeah. So Emma, just in terms, Hassan Al-Ramethri, we've got in here. He's a rider who has been absolutely flying. He's right up at the front here. He's got a 2-second gap over Erasmus, but he's got a lot more time to the riders behind. What we're seeing here, he's really pushing. He's right in the mix. He must have got some great recovery, got rid of that lactic acid, being ready to ride today. He's right up in competition overall. I mean, Booth Ayab, he had a great ride yesterday. Another rider who was pushing all the way in to the finish. It'll be interesting to see how he deals with this as well today. Another of our riders that we know is going to be having an interesting time out there. Going to be interesting to see how he gets on. I think we're going to see a really, really interesting race as this continues onwards.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. And I think we're going to see movement in the overall classification as well. Well, one of the riders taking part is Matt Smithson, not in the elite category, but in the amateurs. So jumping on the bike after work with everybody else and taking part.
Exactly. Matt Smithson hopefully can ride better than his dancing was, because I know he was out. His dancing was entertaining, shall we say, earlier on in the weekend, and I'm hoping it hasn't damaged his legs too much. You've got to be very careful when you do other activities other than cycling, because you don't want to do yourself some damage. Now, here we are.
Look at that.
We are down here in the MyWhoosh HQ, and as you can see, they're already out. Good to see you, Matt. We're giving him a ride. Yeah, he's going to look. You see, I told you his dancing was good. He's already on the move.
Dancing and cycling together now, that is one skill set.
It is, and if you want to know how to dance like that, you have to message Matt, get a hold of it. It's great to see the guys down here in MyWhoosh HQ riding the event here, and it is all part of that development of the platform, because the guys that ride it, if everybody was just sat behind a desk or a screen and never jumped on a bike, would be really worried about how this would ride. At the moment, the guys, they are out there riding. They do the business here time and time again, and great to see them in there now. The people they're looking to emulate, well, they are our riders who are in our Premier Elite competition, and they are going to be our last starters today. We have our green jerseys out there. We have our red, we have our blues. These are our yellow jersey riders. Now, this competition is going to be very interesting as we see this continue onwards. The Abu Dhabi team currently sitting in third place. We have got the High Torque team. They're sitting in second place. But the Abu Dhabi team has got our sprint winner amongst them. We'll dive into those details in a little while. The team from High Torque, well, they have had Al Hector putting in fantastic performances in both the sprint and in the climbing competition. The team, though, that at the moment are leading is the UAE team at the moment. So that is Yusuf Mirza Al Hamadi, Pablo Popovic, Q10, Khalid Mayouf, and Saif Mayouf Al Kabi. They are leading in that team competition, and they have the overall GC leader in Q10 in that yellow skin suit.
Well, he is indeed in that yellow skin suit by 1.7 of a second. More of that shortly once this time trial is underway. But this is the final group starting today, and they are up and out of the start pen onto the 30-kilometre course that is stage 2 today in Arabia. The individual time trial is underway.
So away go our riders, our yellow skin suit of our leader in the general classification. Our winner in stage 1, it is Q10, riding away in with this group. And I expect this to be quite a cagey time trial where the riders are thinking about what they do. Now, the man who challenged Q10 all the way, in fact, our long-time leader is the man in the polka dot skin suit up the road. He's second overall. So let's talk about the overall. Second place at the moment overall. He's going hard again. Now, we saw this yesterday. He belted out from the gun, didn't he?
I mean, I'm looking at this thinking, I didn't expect that. The tactics from the rider in the polka dot skin suit, the holder of the climbing competition at the moment, second to Q10 yesterday, Mohammed Al-Kais, 1.7 seconds back on GC. You can see him there in the bike shop, up and out the saddle, pushing on at the moment, 6 watts per kilo, really, really going out hard at the start of this 30-kilometre time trial. Now, not a cagey rider, Matt.
Not a cagey rider. This is one brave and bold competitor. We know, because we do our homework here, quite a lot about Mohammed Al-Kais, and I'm not sure whether we should let it on to everybody else, because it might well strike fear into them and make them change their tactics. Now,
We talked in the women's category about triathletes being great time trialers. Alcase has been a great and is a great triathlete. He's represented Bahrain at the World Ironman Championships. So this is his discipline. He has also finished 4th this year in the time trial championships in Bahrain.
So he's leading out at the moment. He's being chased behind by the man in the yellow skin suit. He's been chased by Hassan Sultan. And then Francis Pino is in here. Now, Pino is our sprint king. It has to be said when it came to our sprints yesterday, because he is there in the green skin suit, a man who took a win time and time again. Now, Il Pino has 25 points, the maximum points in that sprint competition. He is a rider who we know is a good all-rounder as well, so he could be right up there. But yesterday, he eased off the pace a little bit. He was sprinting from the back. His position overall in the GC is 12th.
Yeah.
Now, there are no sprint points today. However, he's in the team in 3rd place. They are chasing the High Talk team. They will want to improve on that. They've got Ivan Nuki up there as well, and they're going to want to support him as well. The mix of riders that we have out there today, it's broad, it's varied, and they've got a lot of tactics out there. Now, good to see Mohamed Matoe already looking very strong here. You can see stamping down on those pedals.
Well, I can tell you, phenomenal rider. First under 23 in the UAE road race this year, rides for UAE Team Emirates, national champion there. That is what we are witnessing and watching on our screen, part and parcel of this competition.
And as national champion, you can see the stripes on the sleeves of his jersey. Just on the end of the sleeves there, you've got the UAE, the United Arab Emirates colours. You have the right to wear those rings as a national champion when you are no longer champion, and when you are retired and old like me and never the national champion. I can't wear them. It doesn't.
You have to earn them.
You have to earn them, and boy, he will have earned them. That's a fantastic accolade to have, and he's going to have to put that experience to good use. Now, up at the front of the race, Q10 on the chase at the moment. Alcase 9 seconds up. Now, this is a replication of what we saw yesterday in stage 1, but there is a very, very fundamental difference here. Alcase came into this. He went off the front of stage 1. He was chased down. He was brought back, and the chase, whilst it was led by Q10, there was advantage of being in that big pack from the draft point of view and saving energy. That it has gone today. Now, Emma, does this play to the hands of Alcase, or does this play into the hands of somebody who didn't put in that kind of effort yesterday?
Well, the question is, what tactics are these riders looking at? Now, Matt, talk to me a little bit about time trial tactics, because when I ride a time trial, I like to set a pace and hold that pace, or try to hold that pace for the entire distance of the time trial. But that is not the way everybody does it.
No, I'm probably with Francis Pino here in terms of how I like to ride. I would like this to be a series of sprints, to be able to sit behind people, to get towed up to speed and then sprint. That is not something that is easy to do in a time trial, but it's not impossible, because you can use the terrain to your advantage. Now, Pino here, we know he's got a massive sprint, he's got a big kick. He can use that kick on the climbs where people are losing time. He can use that on the downhill where he's able to kick and generate momentum going into those uphill. Using those sprint tactics are going to work for him potentially if he can harness it. You've got to race to your strengths. You train your weaknesses, you race your strengths. We've seen there, he's the man who took every single sprint segment. He needs to do that today. The problem he's got is that it's not as efficient as somebody like Alcase. Alcase here has gone hard, and he's going to sit at a pace. We know he's capable of incredible physical feats. This is a man who has been out and at altitude, not in training for his bike. You saw the list of ascents he'd done. It included some big old hills.
Well, when you think of Everest on a bike, you think about Everesting.
Yep.
Climbing Everest and Everesting are two very different things.
But this man has done it. He's been to the highest point on earth.
He has indeed. And, well, he is going to be really used to putting in hard work and hard effort. Now, Matt, talk to me back about tactics and how you can, different ways of racing a time trial.
So you have a number of different tactics. So you have like Alpina. You can sprint through these shorter sections and try and generate pace. But it's not as efficient as LKC. He's got up to speed. He's sitting at speed. But your pacing on the way through is going to be very, very tricky because he has got to hold that pace. Now, the time split's on there. I'm not a rider who's good at pacing. Emma, you're a rider who would be, I think, suited to a standard pace where you sit at, let's say you're traveling at 35k an hour, you're going to cover each kilometer at the same speed. The start of your race will be the same pace as the back of the race.
Yes.
That's not always the fastest, is it? Because I think if I can quite honestly say I cannot do this for Toffee in a short time trial. Do a negative split.
Well,
a negative split is the fastest. Now, you might not like admitting this, but I think it is.
Well, there it is, isn't it? So rather than hold one pace for the entire race distance, set out at a steadier pace to start with and then up the pace so that the second half of your time trial is faster than the first half. I always think the issue with that pacing strategy is the fact that if you get halfway, you're too tired to up it.
Well, then you were going too hard, surely, and actually you should have been slightly lower.
Well, and also psychologically, you may not be at the front of the field at that point in time, and some riders psychologically like to lead from the front. Others like to chase. You've got to like to chase if you're going to ride a negative split.
Yes, you like to chase and go past people, and I think one of the things about doing a negative split here is it's compounded. The difficulty of doing this, and this is why this is such a great time trial course, it's compounded by the course profile because just over half race distance, we've got that dip in the rise, and that is going to put you in trouble. Now, we're just having a look at our Abu Dhabi team at the moment. We have got Ivan Nuki up at the top of our screen. We've got Francis Bino in the middle and Yasser Al-Baluchi on the bottom there. The team are working really, really hard at the moment, and you can see Al-Baluchi at the moment taking over those pedals. He's on a little bit of a riser here, and it's these climbs that mean doing a steady time split is so difficult on this course all the way through. Never mind when you start dipping in and diving down. So going to be very interesting to see how they go. Now, I'm just taking a look at Abalushi here. That looks to me like that may well be. He's gaining some inspiration. Now, that could be the Tour de France.
It could be a different race.
It could be a race where he has excelled in the past and he actually took the win. Because if you've done a good ride on a good course, you want to inspire him. Maybe you can watch yourself back on telly. Maybe that gives you that extra inspiration. Never something I had the joy of doing.
Well, let's take a look at where we are at the moment. Al Hamadi here with Popovic behind. MyWhoosh is there as well. So these riders quite close together, you know, Matt. So within 12 seconds at the moment, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 riders in this Premier Elite men's field.
And got to remember that Al Hamadi and Popovic are on the same team. And one of the things you can do, if it was me, if I was Pablo Popovic, if Pablo was like me, not great at doing the pacing, what you do is you get a teammate to sit there and you follow that wheel. So a bit like doing a team time trial, but without the draft advantage of sitting on the wheel. If you knew that Yusuf was our best on the team, you know, in the UAE clan team, Yusuf is our best time trial rider, best at getting that pace and doing that pace. He'll sit there. He's got that super pacing. Sit on the wheel, follow that pacing. If he's going to do that, if you've got the ability to do it, it's just that your mind might wander. You might think about coffee or ice cream or sunshine or whatever. You don't want to be doing that. You don't want to wander off and think, oh, the scenery here is wonderful. You need to be focused all the way to the finish, and having that wheel to focus on, for me, that would be a really good tactic. Jump on board if you've got a great rider like you've got Al Hamadi. Okay.
Al Hamadi, just to note, did indeed win the time trial championships in the UAE this year.
Yeah, so he is a rider who knows how to ride a
And
time trial
pace.
and pace. So he would be a wheel to follow if he's going to set a fast enough pace for you. Now, you can see we have all of our elite riders categories out on the screen at the moment. Top left-hand side of your screen, you have got Q10 in the men's elite, the Premier Elite in the you can see he's absolutely flying. You've got Hassan Arametri top right-hand side of the screen here. He is rocketing along as well. Our riders, they need to make sure they keep the pressure on those pedals, whether they're in our men's categories, our women's categories, wherever they are out on that course, whether they are at 8K, like our Premier Men, or if you are much further down the road, like
23.2K, Myra Madeira.
She's a long way down the road. Emma.
Let's take a run through, shall we?
Yep.
The prize money for the Summer Championships here today. So category 1 and 3. These are our Premier Elite men and women. Overall, each day, the stage winner will take away $1,000. If you win a segment, no segments today, $250. Now, the individual classification down to 10th position, $10,000 for first place, 8 for second, 6 for third, 4 for fourth, 2 for fifth, and then $1,000 from 6th through to 10th place. It's a team's competition as well. The top team taking away $3,000. The overall winner in the sprint competition taking away $2,000. It's the same for the overall winner in the King or Queen of the Mountains competition. Now, that sprint winner in the green skin suit each day, the rider who is at the top of that competition in the King and Queen of the Mountains competition, that's the rider in the polka dot skin suit.
It is. Now, you've got to remember that prizes are there for our elite in the Premier Elite and in our Standard Elite competition, the elite who are racing here. And these are the riders who are battling it out for 8,000 for the individual classification win, for 2,000 in the teams win, and of course those prizes then scaled down through the field. Don't forget, of course, daily prize money for our stage winners and for each of our segment winners. So if you take 5 segment wins, it's a nice little payday if you're going out and riding your bike. It's why we have such class athletes out on the field today.
Oh, I'm just going out and riding my bike. To take 5 segments is not just going out and riding your bike.
No, that might be a slightly bigger task in reality than it's maybe sounded there on commentary. If only it were so simple, everybody would do it.
Well, our riders out at the moment, all of the categories have 30 kilometres to cover today in this rolling time trial in Arabia. We're here in and on MyWhoosh at the moment for the GCC Summer Championships. It's day 2 of 5 days. It means it's stage 2. And, well, at the moment, Myra Madeira is furthest down the road in terms of that elite women's category, 24.6 kilometres. A little further behind is Angel Hadlock. She's in the Premier Elite Women's competition. And it's looking like she's got 15 seconds on Kineberger.
Oh, 15 seconds now. That is a big gap. Now, good to see Abdullah Al-Hathi in here. You can just see, keep those pedals turning around here. Good day, buddy. Good to see you. It's great to see he's in action and looking good at the moment, keeping it nice and smooth there as well. I know. Look, you're out, you're racing your bike, you're out in these amazing roads. What better could you do? And you get on telly as well. What I mean, you know, hi mum, I'm on telly. I mean, if the only time I ever saw a camera whilst I was riding my bike, I waved at it. Don't you worry. Oh yes, yeah, I did. Believe me. No, believe me. Now, great to see Al-Hathi here in action. Currently sitting in 90th place from Oman. Living in Oman at the moment, so a resident of Oman as well. One of the 6 states of the Gulf Cooperation Council, and a man from another slightly different state. It is the man from Bahrain in action. Now, Mohammed Al-Qais in action in the men's Premier Elite on the left-hand side. He's at 11.7K, but the furthest rider down the road at 25.3. And let's not forget, this is a 30K race. Myra Madeira leading out 29 seconds, 30 seconds from
But
Rona
look
Joy
who's,
Mayer.
I was about to say, look who is in second position. Rona Joy Mayer, currently behind Myra Madeira. 27 seconds it's fluctuating at the moment. Now that is a good ride by Mayer, lying in fourth position overnight in the standings.
And currently ahead of Musa Al-Mansouri, who is second in the standings by over a minute. So this is doing Rona Joy Mayer no harm at all. Myra Madeira absolutely flying her teammate. This is a strong push by them. This should help reinforce their lead in the competition in the women's elite race. That's right-hand side of your screen. Left-hand side of your screen, I'll lead on the road in totality.
Is in the women's amateur competition.
And it's Kauai Lee leading out. Her gap now is a big one to Carmen Busman's, 1 minute 48. It means that she should be our first ride in and through the line. Now, let's take a look back across, and good to see Ibrahim Al-Rafi again on in action. We saw him yesterday here in the sports hall, pedaling strongly here. We've got the support DS in the background, giving him, making sure he's riding at the right pace, the right time. 40k an hour at the moment, the speed here, and absolutely rocketing along 90 revs per minute, looking smooth.
Do you know, it's close, isn't it? Take a look how close these time splits are between these riders. MyWhoosh at 3 seconds ahead, Popovic at the same time frame, Yuki 2 seconds behind. This competition is really close in this men's Premier Elite race.
It is, and I think this is going to be a really, really key here. He needs to keep on kicking. He needs to keep on pushing. It's really, really important, I think, that he keeps that pressure on to hold that position. What you don't want to do is lose time in the time trial stage, particularly if you fancy your chances when we go on to our hillier stages. It's about damage limitation if you're a great climber here. If you're a great time trial rider, or a great paced rider, somebody like LK, somebody like Q10, who are racing in our Premier competition, they are riders who can absolutely nail this. Now, and you can see Mohammed LK in bursting.
I'm
sat
so
back down
pleased
again.
to see he's working hard and that there is some real effort and concentration going in here.
100%.
Because you look at the avatar and you think it must be easy. It's not easy, you know, and pushing on again, making the most of the downhill. It was a small downhill section, getting up and out the saddle and putting in the power, because the power on a downhill lifts your pace and gives you more momentum.
And the more momentum you can drive in through, that means the more momentum you're carrying. Now, he's at 14.1 kilometers at the moment. He's absolutely flying along. Q10 is in pursuit here behind on the right-hand side of your screen. So this is for the overall first and second places. Remember, Alcase was in second place by fractions of a second, pretty much, from Q10. Q10 took the win. If you haven't watched, I'm not going to say what happened in the stage, but if you have not watched the stage finish between Q10 and Alcase, you need to watch it. You need to watch it from quite a long way back, because they were taking chunks out of each other. Brilliant to see. Now, Q10 right-hand side in the yellow there, but he is a little way from the finish, unlike Hawaii Lee. So the first of our riders in the amateur women's competition about to head in to those last 200 meters. You can just see going to come around the left-hand turn. The banner will appear. The gantry will appear. It's a sneaky little finish, this, which is going to be really tough, because you're not going to see it until you actually get to it. And that is going to make life really difficult. Here comes the yellow gantry. This is the finishing line. Over the line goes Kauai Lee. Stage 2, first rider home. Job done.
Yeah, just over 50 minutes. In fact, 50 minutes and 40 seconds for Kauai Lee, the first rider through the line today.
And easing right down, going to 0.4 watts per kilo. She came over the line. She's put in a big, big effort there to stay clear that length of time. Now, quick reminder, if you're out on the course, if you're out riding, guys, if you're taking a break, don't worry, if particularly one of our amateur riders, make sure you get to that finishing line. However long it takes you to get to that line, remember, it's about getting those 5 days of consistent riding in.
Participating.
And the benefits of riding those 5 days in a row. If you have a bad day on a stage race, that's normal. Everybody will tell you that is just what happens. If you ride for 5 days in a row and you don't normally, you're going to come out of it when you've recovered stronger, faster, fitter, and you've got that satisfaction of having completed the stage race.
And occasionally you get on your bike and you go to ride what could be day 3 or day 4 and you think, I'm actually feeling really good.
Yep, multi-day rides and races are very, very different. Now, really interesting to see our 2 KOM riders here, the King of the Mountains, Hassan Al-Ramethri in our elite competition, in our Premier Elite competition. That's Mohammed Al-Qais at fairly different points in the course, separated by about 5k at the moment, but looking like Al-Ramethri just on the climber, something that Emma had pulled out on early on in stage 1, and I'll run into stage 1, and at the moment looking like he's going well on that climb. Al-Qais at the moment, you can just see motoring his way through. He's currently at 16 kilometers covered, just on the flat at the moment, and again really pushing on hard. He's trying to hold that gap or extend it over Q10. The rider who is currently the yellow jersey wearer, he would love to take that gap at the moment, sitting at about 30 seconds. But yesterday we saw him be brought back. We saw him in the later stages get swallowed up and get caught, and then the battle began between him and Q10 in earnest. Now, they're going to have to see what happens in the later stages, because it could all come down to the final few kilometers. We're just about half race distance. Q10 out of the saddle here, really pushing on, just coming into this roundabout, into the turn here.
Have you ever got your pacing wrong in a time trial, Matt?
Yes, I got it spectacularly wrong in a 12-hour time trial once. 12 hours, you see how far you can go in that 12 hours. I got to, I think it was 7.5 hours into it, and the wheels didn't just fall off. They went into little pieces and fell in a ditch because, the pacing was spectacularly wrong. I did get it badly wrong. I got it even more wrong, actually, on a shorter race where on our local race, there was a really steep climb, very much like today's climb, very short, and I sprinted up it every lap. And I came in second to a man who was 30 years older than me. And he came in, and I said to him after, what did you do? I went past you on the climb. How come? He said, oh, you got it all wrong, young'un. You got it all wrong. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, you sprinted up the hill, and I've gone so far in the red, I then couldn't pick the pace up over the top. So being able to go up the hills at a controlled pace and then rock it over the top is key. Myra Madeira, this is somebody who I need to take lessons from, because this is a rider who can time trial and can race the stages when you're in the draft. What a ride.
She is doing a phenomenal ride today. She's got 200 metres. This is the final corner of the course today. Myra Madeira, she's resplendent in the yellow skin suit because she's leading the women's elite category 4 competition at the moment. She's ahead of Mare by 20 seconds on the road. Myra Madeira is going to take the win today in the elite women's category 4 on stage 2 of the GCC Summer Championships.
What a ride. What a extension. What a way to go. And the rider behind her in that competition on the road is her teammate as well. And they're putting in time into Musa Al-Mansouri. That gap, I think, is going to be around about the 2-minute marker. It could be. And that's going to be a big old gap now. Runaway Joy Mare on her way in through towards the finish. This is the rider who was in second place. Let's take a look and see where she's going to come. She's still a little way to go to get to that finish. 29.2k. She's got about 800 meters, and every single pedal stroke is going to count.
Well, I can confirm Runaway Joy Mare has come over the line in second position, 24 seconds back on Madeira. Now, Mare finished 4th overall. She was 4th in the standings going into today's competition from yesterday. I predict that's going to move her up the standings for the start tomorrow, but we will have to wait and see, because Al-Mansouri is riding strongly. So Al-Mansouri finished in second position yesterday. Looks like she's going to take third position today in the individual time trial. She's got less than 400 metres to go. Smithson is the rider chasing. She's around 50 seconds back. Smithson was lying in third overall coming into today's stage. So we may well see some changes. We might not. It's going to be really, really tight. That I can tell you.
Yep, every single pedal stroke is going to count. It's going to make a difference to these riders as they push on in and through. It's going to be absolutely key. There is not a huge time gap between Madeira and Joymer in the overall GC at this stage, but we have to see where they're going to come when Al-Mansouri's time is added in. She goes in and through the line. Great riding by her as we just drop across at the moment in with our amateur women's competition. You can see at the moment out of the saddle there, 48 revs per minute. So just pushing those pedals around, using body weight to kick it over. As we see Rasha Kerr at the moment with that UAE ADQ jersey on, which obviously is the women's team, the UAE women's team there, and sits back down again, continuing to push, keep those revs going. She's doing a great job here, and this is what we want to see. We want to see people out there riding and really pushing on, doing a good job. 26th overall on the road. Russia waving, and I'm waving back as always. It's a good job people can't see. I literally do wave out the camera like a complete loon.
I can confirm
irrespective of where you are, who you are, whatever you're doing. We always love to see our riders in action, and I will always wave. Emma's usually far too concentrated and serious for that. I am definitely the one who waves at people here. Now, just taking a look here at the pace. It's ticking along nicely here, 33 kilometres an hour. So that's like 20 miles an hour in old school money.
Coming up
really motoring.
Yeah, coming up for 4 kilometres to go as well. So nearly there, and looking really strong as well. So as Kerr rides through towards the finish, Salem is the rider we're in with at the moment. Also there or thereabouts, in fact 7 seconds back from Kerr. Eggleton is the rider in between the two of them. So this group of riders are really quite close in this amateur competition at the moment, all coming into the final 4 kilometres of this race.
So as we get near to the finishing line, these riders need to just dig in deep. Remember, the last 3 kilometres are going to fly by for our riders because it does level out, and it does, in fact, roll in as a relatively straightforward finish here today. Will that be to the advantage of Q10, who's currently chasing a certain Mohammed Al-Qais? That time gap, it had gone right out. It had gone out to a long, long way. We're approaching the 20k marker. In fact, we've just gone over the 20k marker. And what's happened? Al-Qais, 7 seconds. We're getting in towards the end now as Al-Qais paced this wrong. We are on this big steep kick it here. Q10 at the moment digging in deep here. Al-Qais at the moment just losing a little bit of time, and he's got to respond to this. He won't want to get caught again twice, 2 days in a row. That's surely not in his game plan.
Well, different pacing strategies. Go out hard and try and hold it. Start at the pace you think you're going to hold the whole race, and see if you can catch 2 different pacing strategies, 2 different riders. It looks like it may well all come together again in the Premier Elite men's race. Well, on the right-hand side of your screen, this is the Premier Elite women's race, and this is Angel Hadlock. She's in the polka dot skin suit because she took the top points in the Queen of the Mountains competition yesterday. She's not in the yellow skin suit. That is the rider 17 seconds back, currently chasing.
So Angel Hadlock here looking to put in every single second she can into Kainberger. She needs to overturn 1.170 of a second deficit. Hadlock smiling as well. This should be where she takes away that yellow skin suit as the leader. We'll have to wait and see as Kainberger comes in and through. And look at the face. That is an easy enough. And she drops down. Oh. That is pain. That is suffering. And that is what it takes to take away the lead race in the general classification, because she's going to come through ahead of Kainberger. What a time, minutes, 18 seconds. That is a great gap.
Well, Keinberger now in and across the line as well. And I'm just doing a double check. So Hadlock takes first place today in the Premier Elite Women's race. 50 minutes, 18 seconds, 17 seconds ahead of Keinberger. I predict that these two are going to battle royale for the next few days. Elos also putting in a phenomenal ride here and currently battling with Kekkonen for first across the line for third position today.
So our women's race are really starting to shuffle about and change position as these riders continue to push down. Mohamed Matawi, we saw him earlier on. He was looking all cool, calm and composed. He's really buried himself now as he continues to sprint 21k in. Over 2/3 of the race distance is done. He gets that sweat wiped off in there. You've got to try and keep that vision clear. You've got to keep trying to get that heat dissipating, working really hard at the moment. And look at the power, 370 watts he's kicking out consistently here. 365, 370, 387. He's absolutely nailing this at the moment on the course. He does not want to get caught from behind. He knows that he has to put this effort in. The team are relying on him. He will want to maximize his pace. We're just dropping back in, though, with the leader in that Premier Elite men's competition. Mohamed El Case is the man in the polka dot skin suit. Immediately behind him, well, it is going to be Q10 who comes into sight. He just goes around. He's the rider in yellow. So these two riders separated by 3 seconds. Okay, now he's got to dig deep. What has he got inside? How much steel has he got? He might be able to jump out of an aeroplane with no fear, but can he today ride himself? And he's got the energy to put thumbs up.
I'll tell you something. No, he's saved.
Going.
That is a rider who has saved something for the finish today, because they are coming up for. What are they coming up for? 6.5. Oh. It's coming up for a right battle. So it's currently sitting at around 4 seconds at the moment, back to Q10. You can see two riders in the back. Now it is that yellow skin suit that comes into view behind. These riders are going to be working and working strongly. 6.3 kilometers to go. Two riders.
Gonna be amazing.
It's going to be another phenomenal finish today in this Premier Elite men's category.
So lots of great racing out on the course at the moment. We are starting to see more and more riders come in through the finish in all of our race categories. In the women's elite race, we had Hadlock coming in first place. Keinberger coming in second. I think it's going to be a real shuffle. Very tight, I suspect, between Kekkonen and Elos in the overall, because they were very close. You got Kekkonen leading coming into this stage. Elos put in a great ride that we saw. So that's going to be fantastic to see what those results come out like when they're converted into that overall classification at the end of today's time trial. At the moment, we're in with the elite men. And look at this. The catch is being made in the Premier Elite men. Mohamed El Case. He's got Q10 on his wheels. This is a position he should find himself familiar with after yesterday. But who will come out on top today? Will we see one decisive move? It is not going to be about hiding behind and drafting, but it's going to be about pushing and pushing at the right time. They've only got a limited amount of time, so they can really push. It's going to be key choosing that time wisely. They have currently got just over 5K to go. Further up the course, though, SS at the moment in the elite men's competition. I think he has ridden clear at the moment of all the rest of this race field. The gap is looking like 26 seconds back to Al Ramethri. So the push coming from SS. He was second coming into today's stage. He was chasing Erasmus. He had behind him Al Ramethri in third place. So at the moment, he's starting to gap Al Ramethri. The man we can't see is Erasmus. And at the moment, it looks like they are doing damage and they are putting in time. Will they put in enough time? Will we see SS? I know I'm banging the desk here because I love a good time trial. And I love a good race finish. We're getting both here on the GCC Summer Championships. SS out on the saddle. He's sprinting. He knows every single second is going to count here. He's going to lead them in for stage 2 in the time trial. SS comes through. He takes away the stage win here today. And it's now all about what time is it back. Al Ramethri is going to have lost time. Will he move up into second place? I think we're going to see SS taking the lead in the general classification booth there, but at the moment sitting in third place. The gap is a minute. There's got to be a big shuffling coming up here in the overall after stage number 2. It's going to be stage 2 complete. It's going to be second place for Hassan Al Ramethri. He'll take that polka dot skin suit on into stage 3. Now, just going back onto the Premier Elite, Al Case has put another dig in here. He's got 3 seconds on Q10. These two, absolutely brilliant. The battle is absolutely frantic between them. They're out into the final 4 kilometers now, so 3,900 meters to the line for them. A little bit further down the road, Matt Smithson in our men's amateur competition. Well, we're going to see if he can get back to Eslam Ayed and Tom Walker. He's got his work cut out, though. Come on, Matt, you need to dig in deep here, buddy.
1 kilometre to go with Matt Smithson on the right-hand side of your screen. Great to see the amateur men coming up and through into the finish now of this time trial. There is Ronald Erasmus, 30 seconds ahead. That is where he is now. In terms of that men's elite competition, SS has come through in 45 minutes 42 seconds. Al Ramethri 46 minutes 13. Thayab has just come through in third place, so it's looking like Erasmus must be riding around 4th at the moment.
And he's not yet got to the line. I'm just looking at the dots just in front. Erasmus is the next green dot ahead of Smithson. He's not yet at the line. He's coming into that final corner. Matt Smithson at the moment looks like he's given up. He needs to get himself back into gear, and he's got a sprint here to do. The cameras are on him. He's not under much pressure, honest. Here we go. He's out of the saddle now. Can he sprint for 500 meters? That's a big ass, but maybe he's going to do it here today. He's kicking down hard. We want to see some big numbers coming out of him. He's not going to be in a fit state to do anything at work tomorrow, is he? Look at the state of him. He's out. He's kicking down. He's stamping on the pedals here. Never let it be said that the guys at MyWhoosh HQ don't give it absolutely everything. And this is his run for the line here today. Come on, Emma. Marks out of 10 for Matt Smithson. He's dancing. Come on, you're a dance fan.
Every rider gets 10 out of 10 for effort in every race we see. Getting to the start line, absolutely phenomenal. As Matt Smithson goes underneath the banner to complete stage 2 of the 5-stage, 5-day GCC Summer Championships.
And our riders in the Premier Elite competition on the way up the climb. Q10 put in a dig. What's going to happen? What can Alcesa do about this? This is going to be literally mano a mano into the finish, because we are now at 27.8K. I'm just going to take a little bit of a look on the right-hand side of the screen. We're just seeing more of our riders making the way in. Jamil Al-Ghamadi just on his way underneath the banner. It looks like Suleiman just doing the same, not far off getting to the line. Bart van den Dries just in front of him, in fact. So Bart there kicking his way in. So Bart out the saddle. He's putting in a good sprint here. Now you can see nice high pedal revs there as he keeps kicking on, nearly 90 revs per minute. He's got to hold that to the line. He won't want to get caught. And as they come into the finish, and El Sugia is trying to close on Van den Dries. Van den Dries is just going to take that little battle. And love these sprints, these little rider versus rider in all of our categories. Irrespective of what category our riders are in, they are fighting all the way to the line because the time counts. It's a stage race. Every second is key.
Well, it is indeed. Every second is key, and more riders now coming over that finish line. The only race left out on course, well, the only leaders of the race left out on course is our Premier Men's Elite race, and this is the battle for first and second. They're at 28.8 kilometres into this 30-kilometre race. It's all going to come down to the last 1,100 metres.
Now, a quick reminder that the yellow jersey Q10 that you're watching on the left-hand side of your screen has a lead of 1.7 seconds over Mohamed Al-Kais. That means Al-Kais has to open a gap of more than 2 seconds effectively. He needs to come clear by 2 seconds to steal the yellow skin suit, to add it to his polka dot skin suit. 2 seconds is what matters at the line. He will want to make sure, he'll want to put more time than that in. He knows, though, that there are 3 more tough days racing in California, and back to Hurriyat, and then across to Arabia, coming back here for our final race with those 905 meters of climbing. We've got a tough day tomorrow, 445 meters of climbing. These two, though, have no thoughts. This is for the line. It is round the corner. We are heading into the final 500 meters, and Q10 at the moment has the power, but now Al-Kais opens up. He goes on to his wheel. He shuts it back down again. Time is of the essence here. The time gap is going to be minimal because the distance is minimal. I think these two got absolutely nothing left in the tank. They're going to come around this left-hand turn. They're going to see that banner. It's the yellow banner for the stage finish. Al-Kais now. Here he goes. 14 and a half. What's the kilo? The man has nailed it. Will he get the time? Has he let it too late? He's going to take the stage win. Mohamed Al-Kais takes stage 2. Stage 1 winner comes in behind. It is going to be a matter of seconds.
I can tell you what it is.
Go on. Come on.
It's 0.69 of a second.
Wow.
What a competition between these two. Absolutely class riders.
Absolutely brilliant to see these riders in action.
41.52.
That is a blindingly quick race. Now, subject to confirmation, the gap between these two riders is now down to 1.01 of a second.
No, 1 second.
1 second.
0.01 of a second.
1.01 of a second.
Just confirm.
Yeah, 1.01 of a second is the difference in the overall.
Well, I'll tell you who is fighting for 3rd place today, and this is a great ride. 3rd overall coming in to the 2nd stage today, and it's looking like he's going to hold this position with a 3rd place today. Now into the last 700 meters of this time trial. Phenomenal racing from the young rider today. Mohamed Mutaway is the rider pushing on here. The banner he can see at the end is not the finish banner, but the yellow finish arch just around the corner. 400 meters left for him now.
And look at the face. He's absolutely nailing that, rocking and rolling on the bike, getting every single watt out that he can. He knows every single time is going to count. The rider behind him is Al Hamadi. He is the rider on the UAE team in 5th place. We've got Al Hakta, the rider who is sitting in 4th place. They are all chasing him, and he's putting time into them at the moment. This is going to cement his 3rd place a lot more securely as we come out from the end of stage 2 here at the GCC Summer Championships. More time in to this man, but my goodness, we know Yusuf Mirza Al Hamadi can climb, and we've got a big climbing stage tomorrow. Will he be able to put that to good use? He's minimizing the time gap. Yusuf keeps going. This is the kick. Here's the run for the line. He knows he doesn't need to pedal once he gets through the banner. It's going to be all about getting over the line. Here he goes.
Well, that is indeed the banner. And I'll tell you someone who's on astounding ride today, and that's Hassan Sultan. 30 seconds back, looking like he's going to take a 5th place today. In this time trial. Well, I say that. I think he is. 9th overall on stage 1 coming in today. This is a great ride from Sultan. He's going to see that finish banner. Absolutely brilliant riding from him today to take 5th place in the individual time trial on stage 2.
And that is really going to propel him up the overall standings. It's going to be interesting to see what time gap he's put here on Fadel Al Hakta along with Ivan Nuki. Those riders have been riding strongly. They were above him in the overall standings. And he's going to be putting time into a lot of people today, not just these two. They are sprinting for the line because they know every single second is going to count. And we can just see El Hector and Yuki go over the line. The Watts get shut down, and it's time for them to spin their legs out. What riding, what racing out on the course today. Some people don't like time trial stages. I have no idea what's wrong with them because that was just astounding. I absolutely loved it. I want more time trials, please, not less.
Well, let me just run through the results today. So Mohamed Al Case takes the win today in the Category 1 Premier Elite Men. 41 minutes, 52 seconds, 0.694 ahead of Q10. Phenomenal racing. Matawe takes third place, 2 minutes 11 back. Al Hamadi in fourth, Sultan in fifth, Al Qatar in sixth, and Yuki in seventh. We still have riders out on the course. The results will be live and updated as they continue to come through.
In our men's elite competition, SS taking the win, 45 minutes, 42.529 seconds ahead of Hassan Al-Ramethri in second, 31 seconds down. Bou Thayeb in third, 1 minute, 35.611 down on our leader. Demanuan Al-Hassani, Erasmus Bouama, Kadabona, and Kenup all chasing, and they're still all in the hunt.
Well, in our Premier Elite women's race, Hadlock did the business today. 50 minutes, 18 seconds, 17 seconds ahead of yesterday's winner, Kine Berger. Elos coming through for third position, closely followed by Conan in fourth.
And then in our elite women's competition, Myra Madeira time trialing clear, 24 seconds clear of a teammate on the Velocity Vixens, runaway Joy Mayer. Their third teammate, Musa Al-Mansouri, coming through 2 minutes 03 down, but a top three for the Velocity Vixens. The first Aussie Balatai was Liz Smithson, followed by Sarah Suck. Lots to play for in the team competition, lots to play for in the individual competition, and we resume battle in the sprint and in the Queen and King of the Mountains competition tomorrow.
Do you know what we need?
What do we
need more e-cycling stage races because I absolutely love them.
There you go. That is an unequivocal endorsement from Emma on the other side of the studio from me, Matt Payne. Please do catch up with me. It's at Matt Fix Payne. Give Emma a follow at biking_Emma. That was stage 2 of 5. We will be back for stage 3. Our riders will be recovering, ready for what is going to be a fantastic racing, one of our newest worlds on MyWhoosh, which is in California for the road race. It is 445 meters of climbing over 37.9 kilometers. It's tough. There are 4 big climbs, the biggest being at the end. It's going to be absolutely brilliant to watch our riders in action. I hope you're going to join us for that. I've got to say a big thank you to you for watching. A big thank you to the team behind the scenes who make the racing happen as well as bring you the amazing images. Time for me to say, Emma, it's coffee time. It's going to be ice cream time. And for us, a whole load of prep. In the meantime, stay safe. We'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.